yourself.
Hey, everybody, it's another episode of Go Flix Yourself. My name is Ben Conowitz, and with me, as always, is the cry macho to my spaghetti western Clint Eastwood, Bradford Oman.
Hey, that's me. Get off my lawn.
That's not the same movie. And that would mean that you...
Clint Eastwood talks like that in all the movies.
Nate tells everybody to get off his lawn. In
the recent movies.
Okay, fair enough. Nate, that would make you the Clint Eastwood from Any Which Way But Loose.
Oh.
Hey, get off my lawn.
See? Yeah, that's what he tells the orangutan.
Yeah.
Get off my lawn.
Do you remember the orangutan's name?
Smooch.
Probably.
No, it's...
Crusby.
Is it what?
Crusby.
No, it's not.
Crusby the orangutan.
It's loose, isn't it?
Guys, it's a movie podcast. We're doing it again. I don't know why you guys keep tuning in, but you do, and we love you for it. So go ahead and smash that subscribe button, guys. Just smash it.
Yeah, just
maybe just share it with your aunts and uncles
and sometimes second cousins that you think are kind of attractive in the wrong way at the family reunion.
Especially you're more conservative, like family members.
Yes,
the ones who don't like swearing, the ones who have
prudes. Prudes only.
Yeah. Share them.
Only, find us on our onlyprudes.com.
Share it with them.
Anyway, this is a movie podcast where we talk about the latest trailers, the last movies we've seen, and if we got time, we'll play a game. You know, that's what we'll do, Nate.
I'm not playing, but go ahead.
Bradford, as always, today's sponsor, the show brought to us by...
Stop looking up the name of the orangutan and like give us a sponsor or something.
I think it's Clyde.
It is Clyde.
Okay.
Why didn't you say that?
Now that you say that,
you
you
heard it.
Yeah.
All right.
It's not Crusby or whatever I said.
I wish it was Crusby. That would be pretty good. I would love to meet an orangutan named Crusby.
No, that's what it was. Clyde the orangutan was pretty crispy around the edges.
Oh.
That's what it was. Who's the sponsor?
Crusby is, I think, the name of the clown in the Crimsons.
Yeah, exactly. the Samsons.
No, it's Crimsons, and every character starts with a CR.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Cromer, Crarge,
Craggy, Crapu,
Krister Kearns,
Crowns Creeper, Quilly,
Croy, Crick McClure. It's a fun game.
Yeah, no, I like it.
Guys, you like going to the movie theater, right?
I do. I actually really enjoy it.
Now, when you go to the movie theater, and if you don't get a soft drink, do you ever get an icy?
No, because ices give me headaches. But go on. No, I'm gonna play along.
They give
with
you headaches because of brain freeze?
Yes.
Or, okay. What about you, Ben? You don't like ices?
No, I'm not a big icy guy, but I like a soda pop at the.
I do.
At the movies.
Give me a Coke Zero.
Okay. Well, what if I told you that you could have the delicious taste of an icy, but with the consistency of a soft drink?
Go on.
I'm listening.
Well, let me tell you guys, I have a Jones Soda special release here, and it is the icy flavored cherry soda. So this tastes like a cherry icy, but it is a soft drink.
Where did you find that, buddy?
I found this at a gas station.
Like most things in my life, I found it at a gas station.
I do find a lot of drinks at gas stations. That's true. Let's give this a little taste. I'm betting that this tastes just like the straight syrup they make.
That's exactly what it looks like.
It really does.
Cherry syrup.
It really does.
It's
Let's find out.
Same color.
It's also like the consistency of molasses, so it's going to take them a while to get that thing out of the bottle.
Oh yeah, that's
very
just sweet.
Straight up diabetes.
It doesn't taste quite as sweet or syrupy as like I bet the icy syrup would, but it definitely is a sugary cherry flavor.
So do you want us to, like before or after you finish that? Do you want us to sign up the GoFundMe for your diabetes medication?
I got pretty good insurance. I'll be fine.
So, is that something you would buy regularly?
No, especially because now I'm doing this weight loss challenge that Ben has set up.
Oh, he suckered you into that.
I've been pulling away from the sugary sodas. I actually found here's a secondary accidental sponsor.
Yep.
I don't like diet sodas. I don't really like sugar-free sodas very much. However, I have found that Cherry Coke Zero tastes extremely close to regular cherry Coke, and I don't have a problem drinking it. It's pretty delicious.
You know what? I celebrate with you right now. Celebrate with you.
Yeah, it's very good. And I did get a case of Zero Sugar Mountain Dew. I don't dislike it. It's better than Diet Mountain Dew, which tastes like a citrus asshole. But Zero Sugar Mountain Dew actually has a pretty good taste for a Zero Sugar Mountain Dew. So I've been enjoying that as well.
Okay.
Baby steps.
Whenever I feel like I want a regular Mountain Dew, I reach for a Zero Sugar Mountain Dew or a Zero Sugar.
Since the last
Cherry
weigh-in,
Coke.
have you lost any more LBS?
I don't know because the last thing I weighed myself was the weigh-in last week, and then I had D23, so I don't know. So, but I did tons of walking around at the D23
Okay.
Expo.
All
So
right.
I think I'll be okay.
As a timeout to this, we are not talking about D23 this episode, correct?
Correct. We're gonna. If you're listening to this later on this week, we will have a special D23 episode where we're gonna talk about a bunch of the trailers that they released at D23, and I'll also talk about some of the things that they didn't release online that I saw at D23.
Ooh, some insider secrets.
I don't know, but
No,
secrets.
just come on.
Yeah, lots of insider secrets.
Yeah, you got to tantalize the people.
Yeah.
Seriously,
Ooh, I'm
like,
gonna
maybe-
tell you some shit
Hey, Bradford,
you never heard.
maybe help us get some listeners once in a while. Come on.
If you don't know, the D23 Expo is basically Disney's own Comic-Con that they have in Anaheim every 2 years. And because of the pandemic, they haven't been able to have it since 2019. So this is a big return for them. It's a lot of fun. They show a lot of sneak peeks from Disney, Pixar, Lucasfilm, Marvel movies, TV shows, all that stuff. And so a bunch of trailers we'll talk about, a bunch of things that they played at the convention that I saw personally that we will talk about. But this is a regular episode.
And thanks to the Jones Soda people for sponsoring.
Yeah,
it.
thanks a lot, Jones. I love slurping up your sugar.
I'm so glad that you saw 23Ds.
I mean, it's you think that you would be bored after maybe the first 5, but then they start getting interesting.
Multicolored.
Yeah, some extra wrinkles. What's the last movie you saw, Chucko?
You talking to me?
Yeah.
Well, I haven't gone first in a while.
Well,
It's time.
welcome to the party.
Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift.
Is that really the last movie you saw?
Our good friend of the pod, Mike Flores, is doing a rewatch. And so I'm trying to keep up with him as he's
But
going to do his rewatch.
Just because
Wait,
Mike's punishing himself
I
doesn't
thought he
mean
hadn't
you
seen
have
any
to.
of them.
He hasn't.
So it's not a rewatch.
For me, I'm doing a rewatch.
Oh, you're doing a rewatch.
I-
You said he was doing a rewatch.
You're doing a film for
I
film.
apologize.
Listen. Yep.
I'm doing a rewatch
Okay.
as he's seeing them for the very first time.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so he's up to Tokyo Drift, and I've watched the first, second, and third one along with him now.
Are you watching them together or
No, he'll
okay.
just he texts me like, "Hey, I'm
Okay.
watching it," and I go, "Okay, cool," and I'll try to watch it the next day or so.
Gotcha.
Yeah, ridiculously silly, so fun.
Do you like that one?
I actually do. It's not the piece of crap that everybody originally thought that it was. It stands on its own a little bit. Bow Wow's in it too. He drives an incredible Hulk car.
Now, was he Bow Wow at this point, or was he still Lil Bow Wow?
I think he was Bow Wow.
I think he was at that point. He had graduated.
I mean, he was
He'd
probably
evolved.
34.
He evolved in his final form to the Bow Wow form. Yep.
Okay.
Because is it Lucas Black? That's the guy's name in.
I think so.
I think so.
He's 30. He's straight up 30, and he's playing a 17-year-old. It's hilarious. Anyway,
I didn't realize he was playing a 17-year-old in that movie.
17.
That's hilarious.
They threatened him by telling him, you know what? You're probably going to get charged as an adult. I'm like, yeah, you should.
You should.
He is an adult.
He's been an adult for 5 years.
He's got a 17-year-old.
He's got a receding hairline in that movie a little bit. But no, the other movies that I watched because the part of our little challenge, hey, you should watch this movie. I watched Little Monsters.
Which one?
So originally, when you guys said watch Little Monsters, I was like, cool. I've never seen the Fred Savage one. So I started watching that, and they were like, we meant the one from 2019 with Josh Gad.
Yeah, so we have a little
Lupita
Google
Nyong'o-
spreadsheet where we've been Lupita Nyong'o. We've been
at
keeping
saying
track.
She's so cute.
We have a
adorable.
spreadsheet where we're making a list now of all the movies that we haven't seen, and so that we can assign each other movies faster. And Ben didn't pay attention to the fact that we have years attached to these movies, and so you watched.
No, to be fair, when you said watch Little Monsters, I didn't necessarily think you guys
I didn't say that.
Well, no, I didn't think that you
picture
guys were
movie, yeah.
saying off the list. I want you to watch. I just you said the movie, so I just assumed maybe.
I'm actually kind of glad because I hadn't seen the Fred Savage Little Monsters in literally probably since I was a kid.
Did you watch it?
No.
Oh, okay.
But you bringing it back up reminded me of how much I love that film.
Holy crap! You're so
how did it age?
Tell people what it's about for maybe you don't know.
Fred Savage plays a child because back then he was a child. It was what 80.
Now is this like a Lucas Black situation
89?
where Fred Savage is
No, although he does wear a junior Tony Soprano getup at one point in the film, where it's like a blousey type of like Goomba type shirt,
Good.
and really wide khakis, and
Okay.
he's gonna go pound some bodega owner for rent, and instead he goes down to the monster underworld because the movie is. Monsters come out at night and they will fry up in sunlight or flashlight light, and so they come to scare you and get kids in trouble. That's their whole MO. We got to get kids in trouble. But how
Do they say why they have to get kids in trouble?
that's
I
just
don't know if
literally
they ever do they?
It's just because that's how it is.
Okay.
It's just kind of what monsters do.
There's no
so
monsters.
it's not like Monsters Inc. where it's
Exactly.
like energy that they're getting.
Nope.
or anything.
It's
Okay.
just that's what monsters do.
Yeah.
And unlike Monsters Inc., the monsters in Monsters, the Little Monsters are fucking horrible, they're really pieces of shit.
Like assholes?
Yeah, like there's one called Boy in the Underworld, and he's this giant monster, and he's smoking a cigarette just right, and it's a real cigarette because it was the 80s. So he's smoking a cigarette right in Fred Savage's fucking face, like, and you know that's not a prop cigarette. It was so funny, and there's one point where Howie Mandel, who plays Maurice, the main monster that takes a shine to Fred Savage, brings him down into the underworld, befriends him because he's lonely. That's basically why Howie Mandel. But Howie Mandel is clearly hundreds of years old, and he's hanging out with a 7-year-old or 8-year-old, whatever. Kind of creepy. There's one point where they sneak into like Fred Savage's bully's house, and he drinks his apple juice and pisses into the glass.
Oh yeah.
Right, and that can be funny. Okay, get that. But the way that they film it is Fred Savage is like on his knees in front of the fridge, like looking, and then the camera just is sitting in the fridge looking out. And Howie Mandel is standing up to pee, and he like turns around. You can hear the piss going in there. He turns back around, and there's not really a zip up or anything. It's just kind of like he shoves the glass like into Fred Savage's face as he's capping it, and so it's piss just right in his face, and it's just so. And Fred Savage is like he's really into it, and I think, oh god, he didn't wipe his hand. Like this is so weird. It's that kind of stuff.
These are the real Wonder Years.
And they said, they say shit, and they say piss, and they say damn, and so it's not really a kids movie.
What is it rated? Do you know?
I'm sure it's just PG.
No, it better be PG-13.
No, well, it depends on when in the 80s it came out, because the PG-13 rating didn't come out until after Temple of Doom.
1989 is when this one released, so I don't know.
Maybe it would
have been close then.
It was just weird. The other Little Monsters is delightful.
It is just PG. It is.
There you go.
It's delightful. It's got Josh Gad plays a kind of like a Rainbow Randall from
Rainbow
Death to Smoochie,
yeah,
where he's like a kid's character that's really just a piece of shit.
Yeah,
and that's fun because Josh Gad really chooses scenery with that character. It's pretty cool.
He does really well in that.
Oh yeah. And Lupita is just so adorable. Is the word right? She's so perfectly cast as Miss whatever her name is in the
is it kindergarten?
Yeah, kindergarten teacher. And the premise there is that they go on a field trip next to a military installation, and then there's a zombie outbreak, and they are all trapped with the class on a field trip.
Sure.
And one of the kids' slacker asshole uncles is on the trip only to try to get into her pants, the teacher's pants. And then it's kind of almost a coming of age story for that guy.
Yep.
Like it's a growth story about that gentleman. And Lupita Nyong'o's character is the stalwart, knows what's going on at every moment. She's great. And Josh Gad's character is, of course, the chaos of it all. And the kids are actually really well cast. Like they're really good actors.
Yeah, they are,
I really like them. So a very cute movie overall. Kind of
a cute zombie R-rated comedy.
But that's the thing. Like I never really laughed out loud. Like this is fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
But I just kept thinking it's pretty funny.
There's some stuff in it that made me really laugh, especially sometimes when like the uncle is super inappropriate.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I thought Josh Gad is really funny.
He is.
Especially because this came out after he was like getting that like shining profile as being Olaf and Frozen and like doing all this kid-friendly Disney stuff.
There's a couple of scenes with him and the uncle, which are just really the funniest parts of the movie. And I'm not, spoiler or whatever, but he's just like, I fucked so many moms. And it was just the way he delivers the line. I was laughing really hard. So.
Yeah, he's made some crap movies in the past, some crap comedies, but like he can be really funny.
And there's some funny zombie work in it too.
Yeah.
I just thought it was, like you said, it's not a comedy that you're going to be laughing it doesn't have a laugh
30,
every minute.
Hour 30.
Yeah.
Yep.
Breezy watch.
But
a lot of
you're
fun.
interested in the film the whole time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is a well-made film, I think.
I went to the Sundance premiere of this, and so like I have a quote on the trailer, and I actually
okay. Here we go.
All right. Well, I'll just keep the humble brag train going, because Josh Gad does follow me on Twitter.
Oh boy.
And I actually I met him afterwards, and so when I went up to him, he was
keep going, and then I was in his wedding. Yeah.
How did you know this? I didn't tell you this story. But no, so I went up to him afterwards because sometimes they hang out after the screenings and like they'll meet people, especially someone like him. And so I went up to him, and when I walked up, and he was like, "Hey, man!" And so I was like, "Oh, that's kind of cool." That
did he think he was looking into a mirror? Is that why?
Yeah, he like put his hands up, and we both like kind of just stood there for a second.
He's a handsome man. You'd be thankful.
I think if I was less fat, I could have his career because even though he's like cast as
wow, that's really a dig on him.
Why?
He's like, well, what he does, I could easily do.
Well, yeah.
You know what? If I
No,
was
that's exactly what I was saying.
I was saying the other day, if I was just a little bit more in shape, I could just have Tom Cruise's career. I could just be, it'd be real easy.
I told you, I saw Dave Bautista and I thought it was you.
Yeah, in that trailer, sure.
Yep.
Of course.
But yeah, no, I can't sing like he can though. So he's got that up on me, I guess. But I'm hilarious.
So overall, would you recommend that film or both films? Would you recommend?
Little Monsters is.
They're both called Little Monsters. So.
Yeah, that's why I watched it.
You got Little Monsters '89 and Little Monsters 2019.
I think you'll get what I'm going to say here. Little Monsters doesn't necessarily hold up. I don't know that it's worth a watch these days. Unless
Well, it's only like 2 years old.
so much. But Little Monsters is a fun zombie comedy, R-rated comedy. So yes, I would watch that.
Okay. Good to know. I think Little Monsters is on Hulu.
The
new one?
2019? Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
And it was so Bailey and I were like, how the fuck did we not know about this? Because it was direct to Hulu.
Yeah.
And I didn't even see it come out, That's one of the things about these streaming services. Sometimes you just miss them. You know?
And it was one too where I saw I remember seeing the trailer thinking, I might go to the theater to see this because it looked good. Yeah. I like that kind of genre of film, right? It's not jump scary, but it's enough horror
just real quick, so they're not making movies like Long Shot anymore. That was pretty much a one-off these days. Big budget, love story. But they are making some of these smaller budget action horror comedies like Bodies and Little Monsters and what's the one with the Boy Scouts? It's literally the Boy Scouts in the name of the
Boy Scouts versus the Apocalypse or something like that.
I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, those types of cooties, like these movies are being made, and so I really like that because they're
both Cooties and Little Monsters were Sundance releases.
Gotcha.
As well, so.
And I'm here for it, man. Hollywood, keep going. Nate, what about you? What's the last movie you saw, buddy?
Well, mine was a little different than
the Fred Savage, Howie Mandel, Little Monsters?
Fred Savage was, I don't even think his parents were alive yet by the time this came out. 12 Angry Men. And
also a horror comedy.
Yeah. And so it's about essentially the film, other than maybe 5 minutes of it, maybe even less than that, is in a room where a jury is talking about whether somebody is guilty or innocent.
And this is the classic 1952.
Correct. 1952. Henry Fonda film.
Yeah.
Henry Fonda produced it. I mean, he believed in this. This is, I know it's a play, and it may have been a book before that. I don't know if one of you guys know that, but it existed before the film did, right? So. And from what I read, they were trying to get this thing made for a while. Henry Fonda really wanted to get it made. What's really interesting about it is it wasn't a huge commercial success, though it was a critical success. Like, people loved it, but it wasn't a huge commercial success. Peter Fonda, because he was a producer of this, made no money on it because it didn't make enough money.
Hey, Nate, do you think that 12 Angry Men probably made good money? Yes, right? Yeah. It's like one of the all-time best movies ever out there.
And it did make some money, but not enough to really pay him.
Wow.
And so, because again, he was the last one to get paid, I think, on it. But at the end of his career, he said it was one of the top 3 films he ever did. And I can see why.
Yes.
It is so well done. The cinematography is even interesting. So in the beginning, you're just getting to know these jurors, right? So the whole point is, it's an open and shut case, right? Everyone thinks this guy is guilty, but there's someone that doesn't. And in order to prove that he's guilty, or in order to convict him, everyone has to be on the same page, right? And so, but there's one holdout, and then the one holdout, everyone's like, "Come on," But what's interesting is the way they tell the story. They start from, like, if you notice, the shots in the beginning are a little wider, they're a little above, and then by the time, because you're building the suspense, each character kind of goes through these doubts of whether or not this person's guilty or not. Then they're starting to argue about it, and then this other person starts to agree with the other, and the whole film then comes closer and closer, and by the end, you're getting these direct shots of their faces
up close, very
because
tight.
It's tense. Yeah. It's tense, right? It's back and forth. I loved it, man. I really did. And again, you have to forgive some things. If you look really critically at the set, it's not a well-made set, honestly.
I mean, it's 1957.
Yeah,
a lot of sets looked like movie sets in those movies.
Exactly. Not everyone. I mean, Alfred Hitchcock was known for really well set making. Yeah. Not everyone has that, right? I just really liked it. I liked also what it was saying, right? That sometimes, especially in the context that this film was made in, right? It was released in 1957. You got McCarthyism. You've got this fear of being the one person that stands up for the right thing and says, I just don't agree with you guys, you know?
Yeah.
And they had, one character is a juror that's just like, he can't wait to go to the Red Sox game.
Yep.
Right? He's just, I don't care. Let's just get this. I've got better things to do. And that whole mentality of like, yeah, jurors then and now have, I don't want to be here.
Yep.
And they're deciding somebody's absolute fate.
Yep.
It's a very stark comparison to somebody who then says, no, let's get this right.
Yeah, and for those of you that are fans of of plays and musicals, it has that vibe to it a little bit because again, the set is just one juror room, right? But just like a well done play with really great actors, these actors and dialogue just carry this thing, and you're just waiting on them. You're just what's going to happen next? Who's going to say what? Who's going to respond in this way? Who's going to be the one that holds out next? Are they all going to get there? What roads are each of them going to travel to get there? I loved it, man. It was really good.
I'm really glad you liked it.
Yeah, this movie is phenomenal. I love this movie so much. And to answer your question, so it's based on a teleplay that was written in 1954. That was a live production that was staged for CBS that year. So,
and I know they've turned it into a stage play at some point since then because I think I saw that. Maybe
they also made a TV movie again out of it in I think 1997, and Jack Lemmon is in it.
Ooh, was
Walter Matthau?
No, he was not.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. I was thinking of Steven Weber, who was in the Shining
remake,
which I was like, but that also didn't get panned. It was actually pretty well received.
I think it was because I think it's more
along the lines of what the book was.
Yeah, more loyal to the book, I think.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it. I highly recommend it to people. I know sometimes, again, it can be maybe one of those things where it's like, oh, it's a black and white movie. You know,
this is one of those movies though where like it feels like it's still relevant.
It does.
It's
very much so. Again, when you're talking about fascism, you're talking about all these things. To be the one person that's going to stand up and try to do the right thing and say, no. I actually think we're wrong here because it takes guts, it takes bravery, it takes courage to do these kind of things. And you could see though, based on that one spark of courage, how someone's life got spared to them.
Sure.
You know,
how do you think it holds up against Jury Duty?
You know,
have you seen Jury Duty, or is that your next one?
Is that Pauly Shore?
Yeah,
I've seen that.
Okay.
I mean, that's one of those films I saw once and never felt like I needed to see again. So don't make
you're
me.
missing out.
Yeah, you got to watch that.
Yeah.
Chairman of the board.
Because Jury, that's Carrot Top.
I know,
That's Carrot Top.
but they're like very similar as far as you need to see.
Jury
them again.
Duty is basically like Pauly Shore's 12 Angry Men, essentially.
Meaning that the 12 people that went opening night were very angry when they left.
So Brad, I'm a little disappointed you didn't watch Misery because I think you're gonna love it when you see it.
Yeah, so I
couldn't find it.
So originally I was assigned
Apparently
Misery, and I went to
they
watch
don't make it anymore.
It's they just got rid of all copies of it. No, it's not streaming anywhere,
But it loves company.
and it's not available to digitally rent anywhere.
Really?
So,
How
yeah.
is that possible? I mean,
I don't
it
know.
is a highly regarded film, right?
I think some movies they're just not always available for whatever reason.
It's like the
that.
digital world, right?
You can buy it digitally for $15.
Oh, okay. But not rent it.
But
though.
not rent it. Yeah. So weird.
We're gonna go on Facebook and just ask if somebody's got an old DVD copy of Misery.
If someone did have it, I would have gotten it and I would have watched it. But yeah, so I'll try and figure out a way to watch it.
So what movie did you end up with?
I watched Major Payne.
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
I mean, you could have.
No, I did
that?
watch Major Payne about 6 months ago.
It's good stuff. No, I watched One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yes. What did you think?
Some would say a prequel to Major Payne.
In many ways, absolutely. No, this is a Best Picture winner from 1975, starring Jack Nicholson. It's directed by Milos Forman, who also directed Man on the Moon with Jim Carrey. In case you didn't know that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
And so the movie takes place in a mental hospital. Follows Jack Nicholson as this guy who is a veteran, also a criminal, and he's been committed to this mental hospital because he just keeps getting in fights with people and causing trouble, and they think that maybe he might have some kind of mental issues. And so there's this incredible ensemble cast that includes people like Christopher Lloyd and Danny DeVito, and of course you've got Louise Fletcher as the famous Nurse Ratched, who's taking care of all in charge of all these.
one of the best villains in all film,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah. And like the best thing about her too is she's not necessarily straight up villainous, like in like a two-dimensional villain kind of way. It builds to like her just like being really shitty with these patients and like really like poking and prodding at them to like provoke these reactions.
So
and
when I remember when I watched it, I remember thinking like this character seems to be a woman that probably when she started out cared.
Yeah.
And it just wore her down over time. And then she started to be very spiteful and just so mean. And she got there eventually because clearly she'd been doing it for a long time. Did you get that vibe or did you think that maybe it was built as a character who was always that way?
So for me, I don't think that she's inherently spiteful. I honestly think a big part of what happens is Jack Nicholson kind of instigates it. And I think she does it as a way to kind of punish him and try to keep proving him wrong that he can't do anything to help these people more than what they're already doing for them. And so it's not that what she's doing is evil, it's just misguided, and it's it's detrimental to their health essentially, you know. And I do think that there's something to be said though about the opposite end of the spectrum, where because it does feel like at times maybe it's a little bit too fanciful as far as like Jack Nicholson taking all these mental patients out and like showing them these experiences that they don't get to have, because like It could be a bit of a surface level thing of like, oh yeah, all these people really need, you know, is like just like a night out and like to have this kind of fun, and like sure that's great, but like, you know, not these people don't end up like being cured because of this or anything
and
like that.
There is something to be said for this is a product of the 70s.
Absolutely,
when they made
absolutely.
This, or 60s, 1968,
75.
It was mid 70s. Yeah.
So yeah, but it really is this great story because the characters here are great. Everyone gives such a great performance. Like they all have
very layered too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and so it's just it really is just this great ensemble drama that is also very funny and really taps into. At the time, you know, something that wasn't really highlighted a lot, that like what people were like in these mental institutions and like the ailments that they have to deal with, and you know, that there are some people there who, you know, you would call crazy, but they're also there of their own volition, you know, and they can leave whenever they want to, but like they feel better and more comfortable there. And so yeah, but it's just this really is just a great movie. You know, everyone's phenomenal in it, and it's a beautiful movie.
It's more So I bought this DVD. I remember buying this, not expecting to love this film when I saw it, and I saw it in college, I think, and I saw and it so impacted me on an emotional level as well, because you have this group of people, right? And at this time, I think in the 70s, we still had mental hospitals like this.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
Oh, absolutely.
And that nobody really cares about. No one really understands.
And they put somebody who's violent in there because he's violent. You know, he might not actually have a horrible mental disability or, you know, a disorder. He's just a kind of a violent guy.
And some there also just because they've had traumatic lives.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and they don't know how to process it, and nobody's helped them process it.
Yeah.
So we'll just, it was one of my first, I think, looks at film that helped me be far more empathetic with mental health care. Not that I wasn't before, but it gave me a side of mental health care.
When you in high school?
Oh, Nurse Nate.
Oh, boy.
And that's when
we used to call him.
And that's when I started hating Tom Cruise.
Old Nurse Nate.
No, I'm so glad you like this film. Highly recommend or no?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'll recommend pretty much.
Well, now I want you guys to prescribe me a oldie next time. I didn't get an oldie this time.
Listen to Casey and the Sunshine
I will
Band.
say this: when you give Brad a film, it's usually the oldies he hasn't seen. Like he's seen so many, because you in your line of work, seeing so many new films is what you do.
And,
right?
and there's plenty of old stuff like I have seen, but I have some like some decent gaps.
Yeah, and not a lot of them, but in the ones that we could find, they're typically like this that are classics.
I'm either going to do this or I'm going to like, oh, what about this movie from 2010 and it's kind of bad? Because that's probably a reason you would skip something like that, because you're like, I'm just not going to watch it.
Yeah, I know that there are some like good ones out there that I just like didn't quite have the time for before the year end came around, and then if I didn't get a chance to watch it before I put together my year end list.
Have you seen every single Best Picture that's ever been made?
No, not that's ever been made. When it comes to Best Picture winners,
actually, no, this one was a Best Picture winner, so no.
Yeah, there's when it comes to Best Picture winners, especially, I'm missing a decent chunk of like the super old classics, like from the 1930s up through, I want to say like
1999,
like the 1960s. But I've seen a good chunk of the 70s. almost all of the 80s, and then everything from the 90s forward.
Yeah.
Sure.
I've seen every Best Picture winner.
Have you guys ever listened to Brett Goldstein's podcast, Films to Be Buried With?
I've been meaning to, but
Yeah, it's really good. I'm sorry you guys haven't listened to it. It's really good. So he has a guest, usually a celebrity, right? And he goes through, and the whole premise is you've died, and you have to tell about your life and theme and pick a movie over each situation. So essentially, here's one of the questions. What is a film that you love that no one else does, right? And so picking films sometimes for you guys, one of the things that always comes for me is like, what is a film, though, maybe that isn't critically acclaimed,
Sure.
but for some reason I just loved it, right? Because there's those films too. What is the films that everyone else loved or the critics loved that you didn't, kind of things? And it's kind of fun. This last one, there was another Ted Lasso cast member. I can't remember which one, but what is the film?
for those of you that don't know, Brett Goldstein plays Roy Kent on Ted Lasso.
What is the film? Year of the Dog or something?
With Molly Shannon?
No. What's the one?
The Power of the Dog?
The Power of the Dog. Thank you. He's like, I so tried, and I told people I loved it when they asked me.
Was it Brett Goldstein that said this, or was it the?
No, his guess. It was another Ted Lasso cast member that falls in love with the owner. What is his name? Tohib, I think is his name.
The guy who plays Sam Obasana.
Yes, yeah. So he's on there, and that's the whole point.
I told everybody that I loved it.
I tell you what, you can learn so much about a person.
Oh, sure.
About the films they love and the films that mean a lot to them.
Yeah.
You really can. So I highly recommend that podcast to people. Films to Be Buried With.
Well, now I'm
with
just
Brett
going to focus on movies that I really love that were terrible for you boys.
We should since you listen to that podcast, you should. Does he ask the same questions every time to the same person?
Every time. Yep.
We should do an episode where we answer those questions.
Yeah,
like
I'll write down the questions.
Hey, listen, I don't mind stealing a theme from another podcast.
We'll do a special
It
episode.
just makes for good discussion.
Homage.
Yeah, I'll get the questions and we'll do a special episode on it.
I love
it. That'd be very nice.
It'd be really fun.
So even though I did watch One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, that's not the last movie I saw. The last movie I saw is Barbarian, which is the new horror movie in theaters that is directed by Zach Krager, who I didn't realize this until after I saw the movie, but has a comedic background. He directed Miss March, and then he's also directed some TV and also has acted in comedic TV shows and stuff like that. So this is a horror movie.
I'm going to confess to you, I've never heard of this film.
Yeah.
So here's what I'm going to tell you right now. Stop. Don't read anything about it.
Okay, I won't.
Because
that's a lie. You will.
No, seriously. This movie is best experience going in knowing it as little as possible. Because even if you see the trailer gives away maybe the first 10 minutes of the movie, and that is it. And it is a great ride. The narrative structure in it is really interesting, has a lot of twists and turns. It is wild and weird, sometimes darkly funny.
Is it A24?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
And if it was, you would watch it and you'd fucking like it.
You need to stop with that A24 hate that you have.
Yeah, because the ratio of A24 goodness to greatness is really good.
You don't like Midsommar, and all of a sudden...
I love Midsommar.
Yeah, he just, the village doesn't scare me.
Yeah, because I don't find bad movies scary.
Deep.
It's a bad movie.
I want surface level scares.
No, that's not what it is. I loved Midsommar.
But yeah, so this movie is fantastic.
Is it also funny?
In parts.
I like scary funny.
In parts. It's not like I wouldn't call it a horror comedy by any means, but there are a couple instances in it where there's like some good dark comedic bits that just you can't help but laugh. But yeah, it's very, very good, and that's all I'll say, because I think it's best. If you like horror movies, give it a shot. Go see it in theaters. If you can't make it to theater, definitely see it when it comes out on VOD or digital rental, or however you want to watch it, because it's very, very good.
Okay, all right,
good to know. Hey, you didn't ask. I did see one other film.
Oh, sorry, Nate. What else did you watch?
I know I was supposed to ask.
Tom Hanks's Pinocchio.
Oh no!
Yeah, my kids wanted to watch it. It out.
It came out on Disney Plus Day.
Is it great? Is it a 9 or a 10?
What's below great?
Like a 7.
What's below 7?
This is a 5.
Go one more below.
Whoa! Is it a 3?
I would say probably a 3 to 4. Yeah,
no way.
It's just not very good. And I'll say this: I really don't love the original Pinocchio. I think it's okay. I don't think it's one of the strongest Disney films.
Yeah.
I really don't.
It's kind of surprising that it's a classic because actually,
I agree with you.
it didn't really make a ton of money even when it was released theatrically.
And there's just nothing about it I love, right? There's no characters I love. Jiminy Cricket's probably the closest thing. This wasn't great, and it didn't need to be made. Like it added nothing. Like it added nothing.
Whenever I see the TV spots, I keep seeing the painted eyes on the puppet, and they look like shit.
Is it because it's Robert Zemeckis?
No, I think it's just bad design for the character because they wanted it to like maintain.
Are you talking about Pinocchio?
No, Tom Hanks.
Well, there's other puppets in there too, so I didn't know.
I'm talking about Pinocchio because like it looks like painted animation on the wood, and that's what they're going for, but it looks bad.
They clearly wanted to keep it enough similar to the cartoon version.
Yeah.
But in order to do that, they had to make some allowances that don't look real.
Yeah.
Do they turn the boys into donkeys still?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
But all the puppets have wooden dicks now.
Whoa.
Yeah.
They didn't before?
Yeah, wood, if you know what I'm saying.
You know, it's a pretty similar film to the original. So, I mean, if you love the original, maybe you'll like it.
Remake.
It's just, I just didn't, there was nothing about it that I'm like, this is magical, right? I really didn't.
If you want to watch a good Pinocchio, you go watch the Pinocchio with Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Or you just wait for Guillermo del Toro's to come out, and it'll probably be
I don't
pretty
even
good.
know if I'm going to love that. I'm going to watch it, but I've decided.
Don't doubt Guillermo del Toro.
I will
Red.
also
No,
tell you.
I've decided something. I'm going to confess it here.
Okay.
I just don't know if I like the Pinocchio story much. I just don't think
That's
it's
fair.
No, that's totally fair because it's not that great of a story.
I listened to Ewan McGregor on Smartless the other day, and he
Yep.
was talking about Jiminy Cricket. He's the voice in the Guillermo del Toro
Yep.
version, and they point blank asked him like, "So how'd you come up with the voice?" He's like, "Yeah, I mean, I can't do a Ewan McGregor voice, but
try it. I want you to try it.
Here, you tell me and I'll try to do it.
Yeah, okay.
What?
Tell me what he says and I'll try to do it.
So he says, he's like, I didn't really know what I was going to do.
So he is trying it.
Yeah, he is. That was good. I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
Go.
Anyway, I didn't really. It's me.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I didn't have a. And he goes, it's also, I was shouting a lot because I figured, Jimmy the Cricket, he's so far away from everyone. So I just had to, hey, listen to me.
That's a great note.
That's actually really funny.
It's my shoutiest performance to date.
Because he's far away from everyone.
It's so good.
That's really funny.
It was so clever the way he said it too. I was like loving
Also,
it.
not a bad accent for Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, I'm proud of you, buddy.
Thanks, buddy. So anyway, it was a very, very fun listen to Ewan McGregor. He's just a delightful
You said this was
person.
Smartless?
Yeah. And he just comes across as a genuinely nice human being.
I've always wanted to meet him. He seems like such a cool dude.
Just salt of the earth, like he's fucking Obi-Wan, and not one part of it comes across where he's pretentious, even a little bit.
I've heard actually our good friend John Cessna, I believe, is the one who watched this.
The documentary,
the motorcycle tour documentary. Yeah,
I need to see that.
Yeah, I've heard it's good.
Yep.
All right.
Well, podcast is over, guys.
Yes, we did it.
What a great day.
Oh shit! There were some trailers.
Oh, what?
Yeah, we had 2 trailers to talk about.
Trailer.
I really thought you were doing like a flat line there.
Oh no. It was like a ringing bell.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Which one do you want to start with there, Mr. Brown?
Let's start with the sequel, Glass Onion, A Knives Out Mystery, which is a sequel to Knives Out.
I cannot wait.
Yeah, I can't wait either.
I thought I had actually seen this trailer, and I had not. This is fan-fucking-tastic.
Oh, yeah.
It looks great.
Yeah.
And the trailer looks fine. I just know the film's going to be great.
Right.
Like I'm just so excited about it.
Yeah, this is more a teaser trailer than anything because we don't really know what the story is other than, like, of course, there's another murder mystery. It doesn't have any of the characters from the first movie. It's a completely different mystery.
Well, it does. Daniel Craig.
Well, I mean, I meant as far as like the murder is concerned. But yeah, Daniel Craig is Benoit Blanc again. And much like Agatha Christie carried over Hercule Poirot, this is the new detective character that Rian Johnson is.
Hercule Poirot, is that the weirdest way a character says his own name in a film ever?
Hercule Poirot.
Because he doesn't talk like that all the time. He just says his name like that. He's like, well, everyone, please, I am Hercule Poirot.
Well, you have to say your name correctly when you have that accent.
Okay, fair enough.
He's not going to say all words like that.
I mean,
it really puts it on, though.
It's going to be hard, right, to beat this first one because it was so good, right? And so,
but
I just want a good addition to this because there's going to be a third one. Netflix already said there's going to be a third one.
Right, they got a huge payday for both of these sequels.
Got to set the bar low, though. No, I don't want to get excited.
I'm going to keep the bar high. Ryan Johnson is an incredible filmmaker. I trust him implicitly. I'm always excited for what he's going to do for forever. I liked Early On. I love Brick. I love The Brothers Bloom. Star Wars The Last Jedi is one of the best of the entire saga, in my opinion. We've had extensive conversations about this on this podcast about it. And I love Knives Out, and I'm so excited for the sequel.
Does it upset you that Ana de Armas isn't in this, though?
It upsets me when Ana de Armas isn't in anything that I'm watching.
She should just be in all of the things.
Yeah,
if she was in Pinocchio, I'd watch it.
Yeah, I'm upset if Ana de Armas isn't like where whatever I'm doing, whatever I'm watching, listening to.
It's like I was like eating Oreos and she's not on the box. Pretty disappointed.
But the cast for this movie is great. Dave Bautista, Kate Hudson, Edward Norton,
Janelle Monáe.
Yeah, Janelle Monáe.
Did you say Catherine Hahn?
Leslie Odom Jr.
Catherine Hahn.
Catherine Hahn. Ooh, love me some Catherine Hahn.
Catherine Hahn.
Jessica Henwick, who was Bugs in the Matrix Resolutions, and we'll
Dame Judi Dench.
That's no, I don't think so.
No.
Clarissa from Clarissa Explains It All.
No, what is her name again?
Melissa Joan Hart.
Melissa Joan Hart, and also
a hologram of Tupac Shakur.
Michelle Gellar.
Sarah Michelle Gellar?
Yep, that's what I meant. Sarah
She goes
Michelle
by-
Gellar. She goes by Michelle Gellar now.
She
Dropped the Sarah.
Yeah.
Speaking of, in Tokyo Drift, Zachary Ty Bryan. But in the credits, he goes by Zachary Bryan.
No.
Yeah.
Zachary Ty Bryan's in
Yeah.
Yeah, from Tool Time.
Yeah, because you got to move away.
No, he's not Tool
Home
Time.
Improvement.
Home Improvement.
Tool Time
yeah.
was the show that
Within
came
the
out.
show.
Yeah, the show was,
Jeez.
it was
Zachary
the
Ty
Itchy and
Bryan.
Scratchy from The Simpsons.
Zachary Ty Bryan played Brad.
He did play Brad.
Yeah.
So does it upset you a little bit that it doesn't upset me, but I'm a little disappointed that I can't see this in the theater.
You can.
Is it going to be in the theater?
Yeah, it's actually going to be in theaters like a whole month before it comes out on Netflix.
Oh, I thought it was going straight to
No.
VOD.
Come out.
So it just premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival. And apparently, it's very good.
TIFF.
And there are also some surprise cameos. I didn't read who they were, but I know people were saying that there are more people
Don't
than
do
you
it,
expect
Nate.
in this movie.
Dame Judi Dench.
That would be funny.
That would be awesome.
But no, so and then it comes out in theaters for a limited time in November, and then it hits Netflix.
Good, because I'm going to try to see this in the theater.
I'm definitely going to see this in
Yeah,
theaters.
it just looks like one that you
Can I
can
come?
enjoy there.
Usually Brad's the one that doesn't let me come, but okay.
You
that's fine.
you know you can always come with me, buddy. We're together.
Thanks,
till the
buddy.
end.
I appreciate you.
All right. Next one.
Only other one we watched.
Yeah,
Also prequel.
kind of.
Well, is it though?
No, this is a sequel.
This is neither. This is the Fabelmans.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
No.
I thought you were making a joke.
The Glass Onion movie it's a sequel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Well,
It takes place after the events.
I mean, well, to be fair, I don't know,
Ooh.
but I would assume so.
It's more like the second chapter in a book. You know,
The Fabelmans is a sequel to Steven Spielberg's life.
Also, technically a prequel to Steven Spielberg's life.
See, there you go.
I tell you what, guys.
It's a biopic.
I already got emotional watching the trailer, thinking that I'm gonna cry at some point in this movie. I know I will.
This trailer brought tears to my eyes
It really did, like
because of not
I
just
mean, it's got also a moving soundtrack, but
Yeah.
they're like the
John
score.
Williams. John Williams,
The
baby.
score, man.
Old Johnny Williams. 90 years
No?
old and still crushing it. He's being an asshole.
No, I mean,
You don't have a heart,
It did.
though.
Well, no, it just didn't move me.
Oh, he's talking about the trailer. Okay, so anyway.
No, the trailer I thought did move.
Yeah,
me.
I'm sorry, not John Williams. The man's an absolute treasure.
Okay,
Like fuck off.
But,
yeah, of
but
course.
still, what you're saying is garbage still.
No, I mean, it just didn't move me in the way it moved you. That's fine.
Yeah, you don't have the same heart that me
I
and
do
Nate
though. I do.
Me and Nate love.
I cried at Homeward Bound.
We feel deeply.
Yeah. No, this trailer
Of course,
really
you
did,
cried at Homeward Bound. Everyone, like serial killers, cry at Homeward Bound.
this trailer brought tears to my eyes for a number of reasons. One is because this is a Spielberg movie, and it just feels so much like a Spielberg movie. And like thinking about his career and that this is based on his life and his upbringing, it just feels like this really moving thing for somebody who loves Steven Spielberg as much as I do.
Yeah, it looks like a passion project for him too, right? It's so you know he's going to put his heart into it. I mean, Steven Spielberg does well at everything.
Yeah,
he does.
of course.
How old is Steven Spielberg now?
He's in his 70s.
Yeah, he's in his 70s.
Okay.
Yeah, he's getting up there.
But again, I love the era this is set into. I love that post World War II era. It's a lot of it's just a lot of fun. There's been a lot of good film, told in that era of American history. The cast in this is just Paul Dano. Just put him in something and I'll watch it. He's just so good.
Michelle Williams.
Dano?
Seth
Paul-
Rogen is
Paul
playing.
Dano?
Seth
Yeah.
Rogen is in it. He's playing Steven Spielberg's uncle.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I still get maybe that's what it was because I still when I see Paul Dano I think
He's gonna murder
creepy
somebody.
guy. I really do.
Do you really?
I do.
Well, Steven Spielberg's dad did murder somebody.
Okay, well now I'm back in.
No, but no, and then also on top of that, there's also obviously just the reverence for the magic of filmmaking and storytelling here, and like that shit. Like I'll eat it up like an ice cream sundae.
Well, and it sounds like Spielberg grew up in a family that had this dichotomous relationship between art and science, right? I mean, you could tell that in the trailer.
Like they
already.
literally said it.
Yeah.
But in this house, it's art versus
But in
science.
that, like, you know, fine, enjoy art. That's whatever.
Yeah.
But we are a family of science. We are a family that is going to achieve something. And can you imagine if Steven Spielberg would have been pushed in a certain way and we wouldn't have gotten the films that Steven Spielberg
maybe
made?
he would have cured cancer. So cool.
And Steven Spielberg did have a complicated relationship with his father, and like if you haven't realized that yet, watch almost any of his movies. because almost every movie he does, there is a complex father figure, sometimes estranged, sometimes confrontational.
Or Alan Grant, who doesn't want to be a father.
Yeah, no, it's like seriously, it's like there's the themes of daddies in Spielberg's movies is prevalent and prominent for a reason. And that's another reason that that this one tugged at the heartstrings. It's not that I had that kind of relationship with my dad, but just the fact that it's about his relationship with his dad, and just like the emotions that come from that overall, because my dad was like always super supportive of like what I wanted to do, and
I mean publicly, but privately he and I talked a lot.
Yeah, I just saw that his mother Leah was a restaurateur and concert pianist, right? So she's the artist.
Yeah.
And his father Arnold was an
asshole.
An electrical
says that in his Wikipedia.
was an electrical engineer involved in the development of computers, right? So, and he has his own Wikipedia page.
I mean, in the trailer he says, I wish you would quit this hobby.
Yeah.
And he's like,
it's not a hobby.
It's not a hobby. Or I wish you'd quit calling it a hobby.
Yeah.
It looks fantastic. Like the score and just the trailer alone is enough for me.
Yeah.
Like I cannot wait. When's this film come out?
This one comes out
Christmas Day.
I
don't know.
In the theaters, or is it coming to?
No, it's coming out to theaters for sure.
It's actually a limited series on Disney Plus. Like everything is these days. They don't make movies anymore.
It's on the IMDb app.
Like everything's a freaking show now.
Well,
hey, I mean, don't hate on shows.
Streaming has been a thing for a long time now, buddy. It's not.
No. Streaming services can have movies. No, they're not doing it anymore. Everything's a show.
I mean, streaming shows have been a thing for a while now. November 11th.
Yeah, November 11th. It'll be at the film festival at Toronto on September 10th.
It already premiered, and apparently it's great.
November, a night to remember.
I cannot wait. This looks great.
Yeah, I am so excited to see this movie.
Can we play a game? We have time? I didn't write one, but can we play one? Can we play Last Man Standing?
We do have. We're only at 47 minutes. We have time.
Wow.
Let's play a game.
Yeah, and you didn't want to write a game.
No, that's not. I wrote the game last time.
But you said you were going to do it again. But
yeah, you did text.
But then you were bitching about having to do the song.
Yeah, I didn't want to do the song.
You tried to weasel out of it too.
I said if you guys do the song as a duet, I will write the song, the thing this time. Even though it's not my turn.
By the way, I was ready to make that deal, and Brad was not.
We don't compromise the song. Like that's you do the game, you do the song.
We don't negotiate with terrorists.
We do not negotiate with terrorists.
I was volunteering to do the game out of order. Like I get it. Like for you,
I understand.
Like do more work than I should.
But when you do the game, you do the song.
Okay.
And you always want to weasel out of the song, whether it's your turn to write the game.
I'll always try.
But you weren't willing to this time.
To be fair, I would have done the game. But Brad pulled we're going to do 2 episodes this week. And there are 19 trailers in the next episode.
So there's not that
13.
There's not that many.
There's 13.
There's not that many. Some of them are like 45 seconds to a minute long.
Okay, but
I spent all day watching trailers.
You spent all
I didn't work.
You spent all day sitting in a trailer.
This game is called How Long Did Each Trailer Take Me to Watch?
And that's just because he keeps getting phone calls from the Chuck It guys and someone asking him to build a new arcade or like open up a donut shop or some fucking shit.
Oh, I'd open up a donut shop.
I wish you would, buddy.
I love a good donut.
You do too much. Like, I would come.
You open a donut shop and we're all there, buddy.
I would love
some Boston cream.
Oh, please.
Come on.
Please.
Do it now. I'm here. Make a donut shop.
Good maple donut. I love a good maple donut.
I've been watching food shows lately.
Will you stop? What are you doing? What are we doing?
Hey, let's play the game. What show is Brad watching right now?
It's food related. It stars Gordon Ramsay. It's Hell's Kitchen.
So it's not super new. But Jon Favreau did that movie Chef.
Yeah, Chef's Table.
No, Jon Favreau did a movie called Chef.
No,
It's
no,
just
the
called-
show's called Chef's Table, right?
No, it's not. The show is called The Chef Show, and it's him and a chef named, I think it's Roy Lee, I think his name.
Roy Kent.
Roy Kent. No, that's from Ted Lasso. That's from Ted Lasso. You tricked me. But anyway, so it's the show that it's inspired by the movie that he made, because Jon Favreau actually had to learn how to do like actual cooking and like learn stuff to actually play that role and pretend to be a chef. And he got really into it, and so they decided to do this show called The Chef Show, where it's a cooking show where they bring in like certain chefs at other famous restaurants around the country, and also some of Favreau's like celebrity friends to like eat and talk and like cook with them. And so like the first episode they do is with Gwyneth Paltrow is the first segment, and then they do a second segment with Bill Burr, and they make the grilled cheese from Chef, because it's like this incredible grilled cheese with like 4 different cheeses.
Hey, by the way, Chef's Table is a series on Netflix.
I know, but it's not the show I was talking about.
Jesus
Jesus,
Christ.
fucking asshole.
We're just stomping on my nuts over here.
Let's talk about Chef's Table. But anyway, so it's just a really good show, because like it breaks down how to make it, and like just the way they're talking about food and the food they show and everything. It just looks amazing and delicious. And
Why isn't there a show called Chef's Kiss, where like it's a competition show, and they're like, Miranda, your duck confit deserves this week's Chef's Kiss.
I guarantee you there's a Lifetime movie called Chef's Kiss.
Actually, why isn't there a dating show called Chef's Kiss?
Where chefs from around the nation
go on a date.
Our guests from last week would be able to tell us
or
if there was a Lifetime show.
The date is you have
your
two chefs have to cook dinner for each other.
Oh.
Yeah, and then they have to try it and have a date with each other.
Okay, guys.
Oh, what about a show kind of like that? No, seriously, like where there's it's like the dating game, but basically there's a woman chef, and there's 3 male suitor chefs, and they all cook her dinner but she can't see them. And then whoever's dinner is the best, she goes on a date with that guy.
Sounds pretty heteronormative to me, but
no, they do the other way too, where 3 women could cook for a man.
But you notice how my show, I didn't specify if it was a man or a woman. I just said 2 chefs.
Well, okay, I see what you're doing to me. Okay. You can have 3 women cooking for women. You can have men cooking for men. I don't care.
Okay.
I don't know what I'm doing this morning.
It's like a Jewish lady or what? Like, what is this?
Offended,
for you to imply that I am Jewish, okay, sir.
Offended New York producer.
Very, very offended.
All right, guys. Since we did talk about Films We Bury with the Brett Goldstein podcast, and none of us have a game here, I do have a suggestion.
Yes.
Let's do a question from one of the podcasts.
Right? We can still play Last Man Standing, but let's do this.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's do this. I'm interested, Nate.
Yep. All right.
So what's your question?
Here's a question. Of the questions he asked, again, there's a few of them. I'd be interested to know, what was the film, here's one of the questions, that made you cry the most?
Ooh. The film that made me cry.
I got one.
Okay, go ahead. What's yours?
So this is not a very popular film. I've talked to many people that have never seen this film. It's a film that was made in probably 2010, maybe roughly, maybe a little after that. And it's called Everybody's Fine. Have you guys seen this film?
Yeah, I know that movie.
I have not.
Robert De Niro?
Yes, Robert De Niro's in it. And it's got a good ensemble cast. It's not a great film.
It's kind of a cheesy family drama, isn't it?
But there is a couple scenes in there where Robert De Niro acts his ass off. And the premise of the film is his son has died. His other kids know it. And I think he died of a drug overdose or something like that. He was an addict.
Why would you watch this type of movie?
No. Yeah, no. This is exactly right.
Okay.
And you're watching the film, and because it's got a cast that you'd want to watch. Like it's Drew Barrymore. It's it's people that you know.
Yeah,
right?
It's a big ensemble cast.
And I watched it, man, and I tell you, there was something about it. He's got this scene where the kids have to come and tell him, and finally tell him his son is dead. And he just, he acts his ass off. He's just like, no, not my boy. And he just starts sobbing. And I can tell you this, I could see about anyone cry, but if Robert De Niro cries, I'm crying. Because when strong men cry, when they break down, when people that you don't expect, right? It was the same with my grandfather. If my grandfather ever cried, I was a mess, right?
Has your dad ever cried?
I could tell you this, I've never seen my dad cry. No, never in my life. And I saw my grandfather cry once, and I sobbed when he did, because it doesn't happen often.
You still
right?
cry once a week thinking about your grandfather.
I cry like I often cry. I cry weekly.
I often cry.
Like, Nate, you would never say this. But when you said I cry like a bitch was the thing that came to my head. You would never say that.
No,
I would think I would laugh probably harder at that than anything I've ever laughed at in my entire life.
That would be undermining how much they cry, because again, I cry more than that. When I think of films that I've cried the most in it was probably that. And I think maybe too, I remember that film because I didn't expect to cry. I didn't expect to cry as hard as I cried.
So I know what film,
I will never watch that film again because I cried so much.
I know how. So then cry count like cried harder at it or like more often.
So there was also a couple scenes there where they flash back, and it's current day. Robert De Niro talking to his kids when they were young. And essentially, the whole thing is like Robert De Niro is like, for our listeners that aren't around here, we are in a Rust Belt area. We've got friends that their dads worked swing shift at a steel mill.
Yep,
it was a common occurrence here, right?
And now our friends are working
in
swing
steel
shift
mills,
at
but
a steel
they never
mill.
saw their dads.
Right.
They never
Yep.
did. They just their dads were always working and things like that. And that's kind of what Robert De Niro was.
Gotcha.
He was always working, and like. He had to, but he didn't feel like he was always working, and he felt like he was doing the right thing for his family.
Sure,
right? But it turns out maybe it wasn't the right thing, and so there's these scenes that he has with his kids, these flashbacks. It's just emotional. Maybe as a dad, it hit me in a weird way, but I can tell you this: it's not the best film at all. But for some reason, it just made me sob.
Brad, what, you got one?
You can go ahead.
I'm going with the film that made me cry the most often.
Okay,
Because I can't really remember
Yep.
growing up, and I really was sad and cried hard at a film. But the movie I cried the most at was either fortunately or unfortunately Avengers Endgame.
Really?
I cried 7 to 8 times. Like, independent scene would happen, I would start to cry.
What is there a scene in there that specifically you remember? Maybe first scene that got you to cry.
Oof.
The scene now where he goes back, where Thor goes back and sees his mother.
Oh, really? That one got to you?
Man, that was the hardest I cried in the film, and it didn't help that I was seeing it with my mom.
As you say,
She
was
was
it part
literally
of that?
sitting next to me.
Yep.
And
a mom that wants to take care of her son.
It's just she is that,
and a mom that tells her son to eat a salad.
I'm not joking. Like, it's so true. Like,
it felt,
dude, I'm not fucking kidding. Like, she says that line, like, and eat a salad, and my mom looked at me, and I could see her siding me, and I'm like, I know, but I'm like weeping openly in the theater, like watching this movie, and everything made me cry.
Is it one of those two where nobody else was really weeping?
Yeah, no, and it's Avengers Endgame, and sure, like Bailey, got emotional and she teared up a little bit, but because some of those things hit me so hard, it made it easier to cry at the next scene. So now, like, even Steve Rogers, who I don't really care about as a character, I'm like, he should go live the life he deserves. God damn it! Like, I just got mad at myself eventually, and like Tony Stark, he dies, and I'm crying.
Oh, I bawled like a baby.
Oh my God, I couldn't believe I cried so much.
I think there's something to be said too, and maybe people think it's silly because it's comic book characters, whatever. When you care about film as much as the three of us jokers do,
yeah,
and you go through these journeys with these characters,
it was a very cathartic cry a lot,
and you're going, oh, it's over, like it's over, right? Like,
and I think that there definitely
characters
was that the impetus to cry there had been building since Iron Man, really.
Yep.
Because I've watched this for 12, 13 years.
Yep.
And there is something to be said for that. And I didn't know, on face value, guys, that is silly, right? It's a fucking Marvel movie, and I'm bawling like a baby, but man, it's something about
It's not uncommon for me to have Marvel films where I get emotional, and though there's always often a scene or something.
It's typically father-son, mother-son stuff.
People that have
complicated,
that are dealing with
complicated relationships.
People that go to therapy once a week to talk about their relationship with their parents, they get it.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. I graduated.
No, I definitely cried a decent amount during Endgame as well. And some of it was like happy stuff too, like when when the portals open back up and everyone comes in at the very end, like that. It was just like, it was great because everyone that had died was coming back, but it was also just like, it really just felt like this incredible culmination of everything that had happened in the franchise.
Was that kind of a relief cry? Like, oh.
Yeah, like
my God,
like,
they're it's
and it was
happening.
honestly, it was just it's the swell of the score. It's Chris Evans' performance as like he's on his last ropes. He's standing there by
goosebumps right now.
Yeah, standing there by himself, and just like the immense relief he feels whenever
right after
shows
his
up.
arm is broke, you can tell his arm, and he's like, "I'm just gonna go down,"
I'm just gonna keep going.
Yeah, and then when specifically. When Spider-Man comes back and Tony Stark just gives him like a big hug.
The big hug.
Yeah. And then of course, Tony Stark dying. Like it's the funeral.
Everything. It just keeps coming.
It comes in waves. Honestly, if we're talking about the most, that probably is the most.
Thank God I'm not alone.
No. But more recently, and I've already talked about this, but
beaches.
After Yang,
yeah,
really hit. I
know you
me.
Talked about that.
And it made me cry.
I need to.
Made me cry a few times. But yeah,
but part of my problem is, of course, I'm that idiot that doesn't go out of my I'm never gonna watch Manchester by the Sea. I'm never gonna because I know they're sad.
Yeah, that movie is
That movie though is not so much sad. It depressed me.
Yeah.
I didn't cry actually. I got
to your credit. There is
a hole in your heart.
There is a difference between sad and depressing, and that is definitely more of a
because sometimes sad good cries are good, right? Like I feel good. Like I didn't feel hopeless even at the end of the movie.
Did you guys cry in the first 5 minutes of Up? I cried in the first 5 minutes of Up.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I think you're a monster if you don't.
It's a movie in itself,
right? Isn't that great?
No, anytime there's a film also with some kind of self-sacrifice or something where somebody is doing something for the sake of somebody else, I get emotional.
Did you tear up when Bruce Willis lets Ben Affleck go?
Cried like a baby. I didn't tear up. I cried like a baby.
Brad, was that emotional for you?
I watched it last year. Cried like a baby still.
I got a little emotional. I watched it last year too. I got a little emotional.
It might be more emotional now that my dad's dead.
Harry Stamper was a good man.
I'll say this. Ben Affleck does great in that.
He's not, again, like, people shit on Ben Affleck in that movie, but man, he was great.
That scene there, especially,
Harry,
no.
And he's crying and hitting the thing. Harry, no.
Harry. For sure. I'm trying to think of, like, what other one? I mean, I cried in Lord of the Rings.
Which part? Because I'm sure I did multiple times. But I could tell you this.
A lot of Sam and Frodo stuff.
The scene where Frodo goes into the river when Sam goes into the river after Frodo.
Yeah, for sure.
And Sam says, I told him I wouldn't. Essentially, I told him I'd go with you. Like he does, and it's just the beauty of the friendship there, of commitment. Right?
I've only seen those movies once.
Are you kidding?
Saw them in the theater and never again.
Bro.
I love them.
I watch those movies every year.
Extended cuts.
Seriously.
You know me. I don't. Where you're watching.
Me and my sister and my cousin Cameron, who's a friend of the pod. He's been on the show before. We went to go see
Cousin Cameron.
Yeah,
Hi, Cousin Cameron.
all 3 extended cuts in theaters in one day. So much fun.
How many pee breaks?
By the end, were you just peeing constantly?
No, I mean honestly, like it wasn't hard to hold. Like I held it for the whole movie, for each movie
for 4 hours. For the 4 hours,
holy shit!
You guys have been in enough movies to me. I had to go like every 20 minutes.
Keep in mind, this was like 10 years ago when The Hobbit came out.
Nate, how do you get the productionists to stop the film? Like every time we go, they pause it. I'm like, I've never had a movie pause before.
Excuse me.
Oh, sorry, Nate. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah. Ron, hit it. Pause, buddy. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody.
What else has made me cry? I'm trying to think.
I mean, I've seriously cried in so many.
Eternal Sunshine breaks my heart every single time I watch it. That's why it's one of my favorite movies of all time.
I think that a lot more of the, like we were talking about, a lot more of the MCU stuff gets to me than I thought it did.
Yeah.
It really does.
What about A Star Is Born? Did you guys get emotional in that one?
I did.
I didn't really, not that I didn't feel like you, because I did like that movie a lot, and I think the performances in it are great, but it just wasn't one that really, like, I didn't connect with it enough for it to pull at my heartstrings. Like, it was still very sad, for sure.
I think I cried at the end.
I didn't.
Okay.
Not because I wasn't necessarily moved. I just wasn't moved like enough to like feel that. But I will say a movie that made me cry when I saw it, and like it's
Marley and Me.
It definitely like tinges like some. It pulls a little tears just to the brim. of coming out, but like then they don't. But like I'm very touched by this movie.
Okay, what is it?
Yeah, enough qualifications.
But
are you embarrassed of this or what?
No. But what I'm about to say is that I haven't brought myself to watch it since my.
Oh, God damn it!
You're gonna feel bad when I say
I know.
this.
I know. I'm already feeling bad.
Okay, so shut up. I haven't been able to bring myself to watch it since my dad died.
I know. That's why I'm mad at myself.
Because it is. It's about time, and there's this very like powerful like story and connection that the main character has with his father, and there's a part where I'm getting emotional just talking about it. He can travel back in time, and so he's been traveling back in time to like fix certain things and make his life a little bit better and that kind of thing. But then it reaches a point where he has Rachel McAdams, like the love of his life, and he has a kid, and he realizes that he can't go back in time further past a certain point anymore without messing up the future and changing.
What's the movie?
About Time.
Oh, okay, sorry, I missed that.
About Time, yeah.
Because have you not seen it?
No,
Oh, then I don't want to say anything anymore. But
Bailey told me I'm supposed to watch it.
Yeah, you should watch it. I don't want to say anything anymore.
No, that's right. But no, and honestly, I don't. I want to making sure everybody understands. Nate and I both realized about 10 seconds in that there was gonna be a turn, and we both went, "Oh no!" Like now I feel like a fucking asshole for saying this. He's gonna say, "Since my dad died," I'm like, "God damn it, Ben! You should
feel like a jerk one more time." At least my mom's dead.
Have you seen About Time?
I have no. Okay. Yeah, both of my parents are alive and healthy, and I feel bad.
Margot Robbie's in that.
Yes,
like an early kind of Margot Robbie
before
film.
she was like big and famous. Yeah.
Great. Now I got to watch About Time next time as my fucking punishment.
Bill Nighy's in it. It's actually a very good cast.
If you haven't seen About Time, that should be your next movie.
Oh, I don't want to cry.
That's agreed. We're signing About Time.
No, why did I laugh? I'm sorry, Brad. I didn't mean to laugh at you.
I mean,
the last time you laughed at his dad dying.
Well, it won't be.
To be fair, I mean, you weren't doing it because you knew it was about my dad dying.
God, of course not.
You're just an idiot.
No. I mean, yeah.
Here's another one, guys. So when Toy Story 3 came out on video, I hadn't seen it in the theater. My daughter was 2 years old. I went to our church. Again, I watched it on our big screen. We got a big 15-foot screen, just her and I in our church, and she sat right by me, holding my hand. I bawled like a baby when he says goodbye to the toys, and then Woody stays.
I don't have kids, but I still
bawled like a baby.
Wait, do I cry really easily?
Well, first of all, I got suckered in when it seemed like they were gonna die.
Yeah,
see, and I'm like, I know they're not gonna kill these characters. But I'm like, well, no.
But honestly,
tears are coming.
The way they were filming the fucking movie, you're like, they're gonna kill these characters.
Kill these toys.
I'm not even joking.
But no, like the end when he gives the toys away and like he plays with them for one last time.
Dude, but watching that grinder scene or whatever the fuck that was, right? Where
the incinerator.
Right. Watching that scene and going, oh, did Disney really fuck up and miss the mark here? And they didn't realize how attached we are, and they're gonna
traumatize a generation of kids.
Honestly, like I really thought, oh, maybe some executive got some studio notes in there. We're gonna fucking traumatize some children forever.
Man, you know what?
Holy shit, dude.
But that one gets me. Yeah.
And that's an all-timer.
It's a fantastic film.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
But lots of Huggin' Bear, such an asshole in that movie too. When he leaves them behind and he says, "Where's your kid now, Sheriff?" It's like, holy shit! He's like, "Fuck you, buddy."
There's a lot of hurt behind that.
There is.
Worse villain than Nurse Ratched by far. By not even close.
Another one that I'm thinking of films that like even recently. Did you guys see the 2019 Little Women film?
Oh yeah, loved it.
Nope.
Cried like a baby.
I've never seen any of the Little Women.
Cried. You know what scene gets me is when the neighbor, I can't remember, played by an older guy,
Marlon Brando.
No, he's the uncle of Timothy Chalamet. Do you know who I'm talking about? Her grandfather, maybe uncle's grandfather. But he comes over, and there's no spoiler alerts. Little Women's like 100-year-old book. All right, but the youngest sister dies.
What? I was gonna watch that tomorrow.
And there's Chris Cooper.
Yeah, thank you, Chris Cooper. He can't go into the house because she's not there.
Yeah,
and I just get so sad at that.
Is Chris Cooper kind of like a James Wood guy in Hollywood now? Where
I don't know. I don't think he is.
Okay, good.
No, and actually, he's one of those guys where you're like, he's built a pretty great career, and I don't know if he's ever heralded, right? But he's got a great career, and he's done some good things.
He's gotten some like awards nominations.
Maybe you'll know this, Nate. Brad won't, but like if they ever make a movie about Chris Collinsworth,
Yeah.
Chris Cooper will play that.
I can see that. Well,
The
they better make it soon because Chris Cooper's getting old.
Yeah. It's an NFL commentator, Bradford.
Oh boy.
How's time, buddy? Are we?
No, we're good.
Is it about time?
No, we're at an hour 10, so we need to end this, guys. And on that good note, right, on that happy note of talking about the saddest films we've seen, but that was fun actually. I loved hearing this from you guys.
I love it. Yeah, Brad.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
And again, make sure you give us 5 stars on the old Apple Podcasts. Subscribe.
The old Apple Pods.
Like. Check us out on Spotify, Anchor, Stitcher. Ear Portal.
My friend Jonah Snyder says he listens every morning when he goes to work.
You know what? I noticed a lot of people listen first thing in the morning. A lot
of commutes.
Yeah, when the show has been released.
Way to go, Jonah Snyder.
I
like Jonah. He's a good guy.
We can cut all this out, but I did want to mention that he listens to podcasts that are only 1 hour. He won't go over an hour, right?
Oh, see, so we're cutting it close.
No. So when it used to be like when the old show, we were 2 hours. He's like, I just don't do that.
Yeah.
So now that we're at an hour, he's like, oh, I'm loving it.
Yeah,
way to go, buddy.
There you go. It's better. So yeah, like make sure you check it out. It's a real humdinger.
Yeah. So go fix yourself.
Yeah.
iTunes.
Find us all on Twitter. Find us on the Facebooks, wherever you're at. Brad's still on MySpace. Find him there.
Love MySpace.
I am on Friendster, and Nate is on
ICQ.
I thought it was the Trump Network.
Uh-oh.
Parlor?
Yeah, Parlor.
I got off.
I thought it was it's called Truth Network, isn't it?
Truth Social.
Truth Social.
That's what it is.
Yeah, we both know about it for some reason.
No, Truth Social. At Truth Social.
at Pastor Nate on truthsocial.net.
It's the only place you get the truth.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
Nah, cheating, eh?